good morning, and welcome to part 2 of the Getting Ready series here at the Caribbean Maritime University. My name is Archibald Gordon. I am Director of Marketing and Communications at the CMU, and I'm delighted to welcome you again to the Getting Ready series. The aim of this series is really, as the name suggests, to get you ready for your journey to the Caribbean Maritime University. On Tuesday, we started out by talking about some of the registration processes and how that would be handled, and admission processes, etc. And today we're going to be continuing by sharing vital information about finances, payment plans, and another critical area, which is scholarships and bursaries and all of these opportunities that are available. We're particularly passionate about the scholarships and bursaries because, as I said on Tuesday, for those of you who are here on Tuesday, very often people think that they're not going to get them. And I am one example of a person who thought that and had not paid for undergraduate fees as well as graduate fees. In fact, at the graduate level, what happened was that somebody forced me to apply, and then I ended up getting a scholarship that brought me overseas. And we see that a lot here at the CMU, that sometimes we have to go around and talk to people and get people to apply, but there are always fantastic opportunities. There are all of these fantastic opportunities out there, and sometimes to tell tales, well, not to tell tales out of school, as they would say, but sometimes we have to be not arguing, but negotiating is the word, with sponsors to continue to sponsor these awards because students will not take them up. So when we say that there is money out there and there's money out there and there are opportunities that you can get, we really, really mean it. So you're going to be hearing that session second. That's actually from Jadine Bethune, who is from the Office of Administration/University Registrar. But our first presentation this morning, as you heard from her, those of you who are early in the session, is from Amanda Nemhard, who is from the Office of the Treasury and is live right now. I'm not sure Amanda is hearing that. Her mic is open, and she's going to be presenting on all of the things that you need to know financially, including possible payment plans. And then afterwards, we'll tell you one avenue that you can take to finance your journey here at the CMU, which are scholarships and grants. And then after that, we will open the floor to questions. Now, if you're in this session, and it might have been that you haven't completed your application, it may have been as well that you have already completed your application. It may be that you have gotten provisional or conditional acceptance. It's important to know that we're sending out the invite both to the Getting Ready series as well as orientation and all of that to everybody. So it's a huge mailing list. So even if you are in the process of thinking that you want to be part of the journey here at the CMU, we are arranging these sessions so you can get the information that is necessary so you can ask any questions that you want. So when the question and answer period comes up, we're encouraging you, just for the sake of order, to use the raise hand feature, but you can put any question in the chat, and it does not have to pertain to finances. You can ask about the status of your application. You can ask about boarding. You can ask about anything. We're interested in resolving any of the issues that you have to make your journey here to the CMU much, much easier. We want you to be on board. And so we have representatives from the Office of the Treasury. They are in the chat. We have representatives from the Office of Administration/University Registrar, which is a huge office, everything from exams to student affairs, to sports, to boarding, to scholarships. They cover that. You also have representatives of the different faculties here, faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, engineering and applied technology, shipping and logistics. I'm not sure whether we have a representative of the faculty of the School of Graduate Studies and Research, but if you have a question, you can ask it and we'll find them. Somebody will leave and go and find somebody, or we'll get the answer and get the answer to you, or we will collect your information. When you're sharing your information and there's a question you have in the chat, remember that you need to share your proper name, your any sort of identifying information that you have received. So your application number, if you have one on there, that kind of information. So we're able to identify you. and respond to your queries. And as I said, there are a large range of CMU representatives who are in the chat and willing and ready to accept your questions. And you can start even posing them now while keeping an ear open for what Ms. Nemhard and Ms. Bethune are going to be saying later. So with all of that said and all of the housekeeping matters addressed, I'm going to turn you over now to Amanda Nemhard, who is going to be making the presentation on behalf of the Office of the Treasury. And then I will be back to introduce Ms. Bethune, and then we'll open the floor for questions. Amanda, over to you.
All right, thank you, Archie. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for your interest in the Caribbean Maritime University. We're so happy and excited to have you here. So let's begin. All right, so what constitutes registration? So to be considered a registered student at the CMU, you would have to be pre-registered in your financial program, in your academic program, and you'd also have to be financially cleared. So we're going to go into the different type of clearances in a bit so you can understand what it means to actually be financial cleared. All right, so financial clearance first. What does financial clearance get you at the Caribbean Maritime University? So you get access to your classes, whether it's face-to-face. We use a platform called Moodle. If you have assignments online, then that means that you'll be able to also submit those courseworks. You also get access to both your mid-semester and final exams. If you're not financially cleared, then unfortunately you'll be barred from both exams. You get access to library materials. If you're fully cleared, you get access to registry documents. So that's like your letter, your transcripts, anything of that sort, your identification card, and your health card. All right, so we have two main types of financial clearance. So first we have conditional clearance. So we have something at the CMU. We have payment plans, or we have a payment module at the CMU. Once you follow that payment model, then you get automatic conditional clearance. With conditional clearance, you will get access to everything that I mentioned before, but the only exception is that you would not get access to any registry documents unless it is for a scholarship, loan, or to give to a donor, anything of that sort. So if you're looking to get a document for, let's say, for example, work and travel, if you're on conditional clearance, then you won't be able to get that document. All right, so then we have full clearance. These are persons who would have either paid their auxiliary fee and full tuition for the year, or your auxiliary fee and full tuition for the semester. So you get access to all the university's resources with no exceptions. All right, so throughout the academic year, it is important to note that your financial status can actually change. So let's say you would have been on conditional clearance. We're going to go in the payment model in a bit, but let's say that you're on conditional clearance, you'd have made payment for month 1 and month 2, and month 3, for whatever reason, you're delinquent. Then that means that you would be placed on clearance hold. And let's say again, we would have received a commitment letter from a donor, the commitment letter saying, hey, we're supposed to get the payments by September 30th. And then we realized that a couple weeks have passed, no communication from the donor, no payment. Then we also move you over to clearance hold. So that means that you would no longer have all of these accesses. All right, so this is the payment module that I was telling you about. So we have separated it for full-time and part-time students, because you know full-time students do 2 semesters per year and part-time students do 3 semesters per year. So kind of spread your tuition across the semesters so that it is more affordable for payment. So in semester 1, that is this. In semester 1, that's this semester. So your auxiliary fees, full auxiliary fees, plus 20% of your tuition will have to be paid by August 31st. September 30th, you will have to pay another 15% of your tuition. October 31st, 10%, and November 30, the remaining 5%, that will cover 50% for semester 1. For semester 2, by December 31st, you're expected to pay 20%, January, the other 15%, February 10, and then March 5. So once you follow this payment guideline, you will be on conditional clearance. And this is a guideline that we have for part-time students. So as I said, theirs are split across 3 semesters because they do 3 semesters. So August, September, October, it's 10%. And then November, it's 5%. That would have brought it to 35%. December, January, February is 10%. And then March, it's 5%. So that would have brought it to 70%. And then the remaining 30% is split across May, June, and July. This information will also be sent to you, will also be available at orientation. So let's say, for example, you're doing the logistics program, we actually have it broken up per semester, how much you should pay. So this information is available to you. All right, so let's talk about our SLB students. So it's very important to note that SLB does not pay your auxiliary fee. So you are required to pay your auxiliary fees in full. For semester 1, generally we accept a status D, and for semester 2, you would have to be at status F and payment received from SLB. So if you're going through SLB, I would encourage that you start the process as soon as you can, because sometimes these things take a while and we don't want you to be missing exams simply because the application is incomplete. All right, so let's talk about scholarship and grant. We give you a brief overview from the Treasury side. Ms. Bethune will go in more details about the donors and how you can access actual scholarships and grants. All right, so some scholarships, they actually only pay for your full tuition and not your auxiliary fees. So if you get a scholarship like that, it's important to note that you have to pay the auxiliary fees out of pocket. For scholarships, let's say they give you a partial scholarship, they say, hey, we're giving you 1,000 US, 2,000 US. Whatever additional fees are left on the account, you're liable for payments. We advise that students provide us with the sponsorship letters when they're available, so that we can put it to your account and update your account. So let's say you would have had a donor who had a commitment letter and they promised to make the payment, but sometimes it takes a while for them to make the payment. So if you have the actual commitment letter, depending on the scholarship, we will actually update your account so that you get access to all your classes and your documents and all of that. All right, so boarding. So for boarding, you will be required to pay 50% in semester 1, plus your full caution fee and your full internet fees. So this is a must in order to get access to the boarding facilities. In semester 2, you'll have to pay the remaining 50% at the beginning of that semester. All right, so let's talk about our payment methods. So the CMU does have an e-commerce platform. So the link is here. All you'll have to do is click on the link, and then you can go ahead and make payments towards your tuition, auxiliary fees, documents. It doesn't matter. Once you have a card, you can make payment through the CMU e-commerce platform. We also have Paymaster online and in branch, Bill Express online and in branch. Transfers can also be done to our NCB account. It doesn't have to come from NCB. You can make transfer from any branch, but we advise that you send us a copy of the receipt, and on that receipt in the note section, ensure that you include your name, ID number, and what you are paying for. The CMU main campus is completely cashless. We do not accept cash of any form. We only accept manager's check and card. We do not accept any payment on any other campuses. All right, so let's talk about some of the challenges that we have with some of the payment methods. So for NCB bill payments, sometimes when the information come over, we are genuinely unable to identify who the payment come from. So we normally recommend that if you're doing NCB, try to do a transfer and not through the bill payment. But if you have made payment through the bill payment platform, please just send us a copy of the receipt so that we can identify and upload your account. We do not accept payments from the ATM machines. When you make this payment, it does not reflect in our account. It doesn't come over to our account. So if you make payment through the ATM, you'll have to go back to NCB and sort that out to the bank. After you'll be getting back your money. So payment through other financial institutions, let's say you would have made a payment through Scotiabank and you're sending it to your NCB. Sometimes it take a few days to actually reflect in our account. So we're just asking that you give us some grace so that we can do our due diligence and ensure that the payment actually hits the CMU account before we update your student account. All right, so general information, you can access all the CMU tuition on our website. The tuition for this year has not yet been approved, so it has not yet been updated. But if you want to see what the general tuition fee has been, you can go ahead and take a look. You can also pull down your interim account when you become a CMU student. You can go on the SRS and you'll be able to see your balance, all the payments that would have been made, all the charges that apply to your account. If you have any questions or concerns, we ask that you submit a help desk ticket. That will be the only way that you'll be able to communicate to us. So once you submit the help desk ticket and it's assigned to the relevant personnel, then they will reach out to you through that platform. All right, as I said, this is how you contact us. You have to submit your queries through a help desk ticket. This is the end of my presentation. I will now pass back to Mr. Archibald Gordon so that he can make the relevant introductions. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Nemard. So we're gonna take questions. We're gonna take our second presentation first and then go into the questions afterwards. We are gonna put the help desk information in the chat. We are also going to be providing a recording of this session. So if you're in MailChimp, if you have been getting our emails that are delivered by MailChimp, you should be seeing a graphic. I'm going to share the graphic in the chat in a minute that shows it has a sort of menu item for joining the meeting and a menu item for the recorded sessions. So every time you get an invitation to a new session, you're going to have the join the meeting link, and you're also going to have the recorded sessions. And as we have additional materials, for instance, the presentation that Ms. Nemhard has shared, you'll also have links to those, so you can always find those. If you go on our YouTube page as well and you search for or get that link that's in the MailChimp is actually just a link to our YouTube page, but we'll send it to you directly in every instance. And you're able to go through the playlist and see what is the latest and any area that's suitable to you, whether you're talking about just registration, whether you're talking about finances, scholarships. As soon as we finish the session, we have a chance to edit it. We'll load it on our YouTube page, and we'll also send you the link in MailChimp. And when you get an invitation to a new session, you will see first a join the session link and a link to the other recordings. I'm going to share a screenshot of what that looks like in the chat so that you can see. But if you check your email, you should this morning certainly, you should see that, and it will be a sort of standard thing going forward. So just note your questions for this section for the moment. I'm going to be turning over now to Judine Bethune. Judine, you online with us? Let me know if you're seeing the slide presentation as well. Are folks seeing that?
Yes, we're seeing it.
All right, cool, thanks. So over to Ms. Bethune. Scholarships, as I keep saying, I say it a million times, but I have to say it. People don't think they'll get scholarships, but there's money out there. And Judine is one of the people who is always running us down to try in marketing and comms to try and publicize, who has been holding different kind of sessions. It's because it's such a fantastic opportunity and people do not use it up. So she has lots to tell you this morning, and I'm going to hand over to her so she can do so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. Good morning, everyone. As Mr. Gordon mentioned, I am the Judine Bethune Scholarship Coordinator here at CMU, and I am excited to tell you about all the scholarship opportunities that we have for our students. Now, as Mr. Gordon said before, it is very important to have scholarships to help you to assist for your tuition. And so I am just going to go into some of them. And I'm delighted to introduce to you all our scholarships and our grants for the academic year 2026-2027. Our main goal is support talented and dedicated students that are at CMU or coming to CMU to pursue their academic dreams while kind of helping them to reduce their financial burdens. In this presentation, I'm going to speak about our managed scholarships, the external scholarships, our scholarship portal, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to apply for scholarships. So let us go into the presentation. So just an overview about our scholarship unit. Now this unit is guided by our CMU Committee on Awards and Scholarship, where we basically manage and monitor all scholarships, which are managed by the university or external donors. We disseminate all information and assist students in applying for scholarships. If they have any queries, we are here to assist you with these queries, and we also coordinate with our donors and agencies. Now, if you want more information about the scholarship, even after I'm finished, you can go to our website or you can send an email to scholarships@cmu.edu.jm. All right, so we have 4 managed scholarships. Our managed scholarships are scholarships that we receive from external donors, but we internally receive these scholarships, go through them, and we give back the shortlisted students' names to the donors for them to do the final decisions. So some of our managed scholarships are 1 from the Chinese Embassy. So it's from the People's Republic of China Embassy. For this scholarship, it is $200,000 and it's for full-time STEM students. So these are students that are in the engineering program and students that are in the logistics program. You can apply for this scholarship. You must have a 3.0 GPA or above and be a Caribbean national. Now, this scholarship is for 8 students. So don't think that it's only for 1, and so you may not get it. It's for 8 students, so you guys can apply. Scholarship is currently open and it closes August 31st, not July, as is stated on the presentation. It's August 31st that it will close off. Another scholarship that we manage is from the Caribbean Shipping Association, the Monica Silvera Grant, and the scholarship. So for the grant, it's for $2,500 again for full-time students who are Caribbean nationals, and this is for 4 students. Scholarship is currently open and it closes August 31st. We also have the scholarship aspect from the Caribbean Shipping Association. This scholarship is for 1 student and it's full tuition. Now, as Ms. Nemart said before, even though it says full tuition, it does not cover your auxiliary fee, so you still have to pay for that. So again, the scholarship is currently open and it closes on August 31st. Just to note before I move on, all our managed scholarships, you apply for them via our scholarship portal, which I will tell you about later on in the presentation. Our next managed scholarship is from Accelerate Energy. This is also a full tuition for full-time STEM students with GPA of 3.0 and above. And the preferred students from St. James, Clarendon, and Kingston. But this doesn't mean that other students cannot apply. Everyone is encouraged to apply, just in case we don't get as much applications from the students in those required parishes. you would be next in line. Because as you see, it's for 20 students, so you might just be one of these 20 students. Scholarship is currently open and it closes August 31st. All our managed scholarships are closed August 31st. Another scholarship that we manage is from the Organization of American States. Now, this scholarship is for citizens who are from these countries. So it's like the Panama, the Trinidad, Turks and Caicos, those countries, you can apply for these scholarships. So it's an international scholarship, not for Jamaican persons. This is given to 5 students and it's $4,000 per student. This scholarship is also open and it closes August 31st. Now, as it relates to our other scholarship from, or bursary, I may say, from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, this is for students who are on the PATH program. Now, I know a lot of you may be on the PATH program in high school, and so you can be a part of the PATH program when you also come to university. All PATH students will receive this bursary once you apply for it at our Student Affairs Office. You are eligible for this scholarship. It opens August 1 and closes October 31st. So you still have some time to be able to apply for this one. Now I'm going to go into our external scholarships. Now these scholarships are from external donors in the private and public sector. And these scholarships, you will go to the donor's website to apply for it. So you won't apply for it on the portal. You go to the different companies' website. So we have a number of scholarships from the Ministry of Education that our CMU students can apply for. We have the JAMVAT scholarship, we have the tuition assistance scholarship, and we have the MST VET scholarship. For the JAMVAT, it covers 30% of your tuition, not exceeding $350,000. And this is for our full-time students between the ages of 18 and 35. This scholarship is currently open, but it closes very soon. It closes at the end of May. So you need to jump on this one if you would really want to get the JAMVAT scholarship, which I am guessing you guys would all want to get it. For the Ministry of Education tuition assistance grant, this one is for full-time and part-time students between the ages of 18 and 40, and it requires a GPA of 2.2 or above. It is also currently open and closes May 31st. So you have a short span of time to apply for this one. The other scholarship from the Ministry of Education is our MST VET, and this is for our full-time industrial students. Now, if you're doing industrial systems, you are the only students that can apply for this scholarship. And so it requires you to have a 3.0 GPA, and it's currently open and closes June 30. So all our industrial system students, I would advise to apply for this scholarship, as you are the only set of students that can get this scholarship. I will move on. Okay, so this scholarship is from this scholarship is the Sidney Phillips and the Ernest Johnson Memorial Scholarship. These scholarships are both closed right now, so I won't go into much information, as this one you can't apply for anymore. So I will just skip them. Okay, we also have scholarships from Sagicor Foundation. This is currently open. It is for $300,000 for our full-time students, and you or your parent must be a Sagicor holder. So would it be that they have a bank account, they have insurance, any offerings that Sagicor has? Once you or your parent have an account with Sagicor, you are eligible for this scholarship. It closes June 7, which is not very far from now. So I'd advise you to go onto their portal and apply for it. Our next scholarship is Grace Kennedy Foundation's Louis Fred Kennedy Scholarship. Now, this scholarship is for students, first-year logistics students. So again, you guys are just coming in, so you'd be considered first-year students. And if you are doing logistics and shipping and logistics, if you're in that faculty, you can apply for this scholarship. You're the only students that can receive this scholarship. Now, this scholarship is for 4 years. Once you keep the required GPA, which is 3.0, you will keep the scholarship for all 4 years. All you have to do is keep up your GPA and be involved in the different activities that Grace Kennedy will afford for you to be a part of. It is currently open and it closes on June 30. Like Sagicor, we have the NCB Foundation. This is for $300,000 for full-time students with GPA 3.0. It is not yet open. It opens July 30 and it closes August 4. So you can just write it down so that you don't forget to apply for it. Our next scholarship is from the Ministry of Finance and Public Services. Now, this scholarship is for students whose parents work in the public sector, any government job, whether it be that they work as an auxiliary worker or they're in the top of the chain. Once it is with the ministry, once it is with the government, your parent has to apply for this scholarship for you. So you can tell them that when July 11 comes, please go on and apply for this scholarship. It closes August 31st and it's for $150,000. So just remind your parents to apply for this scholarship for you. Our next scholarship is from Jamalco. This is a Jamalco Community Scholarship. And this is for students who reside in the parish of Clarendon and Mandeville and also Kingston in the area of where the plant is. So you don't have to be living in the parish now because you're going to be going to school. But once you come from that parish, come from that area, you can apply for this scholarship. It is currently open and it closes May 31st, which is very soon. We also have the Jamaica Flour Mills Foundation scholarships and grants. This is for full-time students living in the area of the company. So this is where you'll have like Rockford to Mountain View, that area. Once you live in that area, you are able to apply for this scholarship and you must be between the ages of 17 to 35. And you apply for it no later than July 31st. So you can go onto the website now and get some more information. Our next scholarship is from Jamaica Energy Partners. And this one is up to $250,000. This one is for full-time and part-time students also residing in the area. And this is also in the same Rockford Mountain View area. You can apply for it and you must not be under the age of 22. Again, this one you apply for it no later than July 31st. So you can hop on over to their website to get more information about it. Okay, we're moving on. So we have Carreras Jamaica Limited. Now, this scholarship, they have two types of scholarship. They have scholarship for persons who are doing their degree, and this is between $50,000 to $100,000. But this one is for returning students. So even though you are first-time students now, when you're going into second year, this scholarship will be for you, and you have to be 18 years or over. For persons who are doing their masters, there's also a master's scholarship from Carreras for $1 million. The scholarship is currently open and it closes June 30. We also have betting, gaming, and lotteries tertiary education grant. Again, this one is not necessarily for you right now, but it is good to know about scholarships that you can apply for when you come to the school. So once you're in third year and fourth year, you can apply for this scholarship. We also have the J. and Nephew scholarship for $450,000, and you must be residing in the area of the plants, any of the plants. So whether it is in the one in Clarendon, the one in St. Elizabeth, or the one off Spanish Town Road, you can apply for this scholarship, as you'll be required to do voluntary service there. That's why they would say that they want it to be close to the area. This scholarship is just opened yesterday and it closes July 5. So you have a short window to apply for this scholarship. So if you are from these areas, please go ahead and apply for this scholarship. Okay, coming down. We have a scholarship from the Heart NSCA. This scholarship covers 80% of your tuition and it's for full-time first-year students. So it's only for first-year students. This scholarship also carries you into your 4 years of university once you keep up your GPA. The scholarship opens in June and it closes in August. So you can go on to the Heart NSTA website to get more information. All right. So we have the American Caribbean Maritime Foundation Scholarship. We also call it ACMF, as you can see there. This scholarship is currently closed, so I won't go into much details, but you can apply for it next year. We have full tuition for the scholarship, and it's for all Caribbean national students. So it's from Jamaica and from the Caribbean. It usually opens January 1 and closes April 30. And we also have grants that are given out by this donor also for part-time and full-time students. So next year you can look out for this scholarship and apply for it as it opens. We also have another scholarship from another bank. This one is your Victoria Mutual Building Society, and it's for $450,000 for first year and the final year students. So not second and third year, only first year and final year students. And again, you will have to have an account, you or your parent will have to have an account with this building society in order to be eligible for this scholarship. It's currently open and it closes June 30. So you still have some more time, can apply for it. All right, so these are all the scholarship offerings that we have. I'm now going to go into telling you about our portal. So as I said before, the portal is where you would go to apply for or manage scholarships. So this is what the portal will basically look like, just giving you an overview of what it will look like so that when you go on, you can know what to do and the documents that you will require to apply for this scholarship. So this would be the front page before you log in. You would use your CMU email address to log in and you create your own password. So once you have done that, we're going to get to this page, which is the main page of the scholarship portal. So the third icon that we're seeing is where you would apply for your scholarship. And once you have applied for the scholarship, you're going to see the second one, the first one and the second one, which will tell you the scholarships that you have submitted and the scholarships that is in draft that you have not completed. So this is what it will look like once you start applying for the scholarships. So this is what the first page will look like. It will ask you for your biodata. So your CMU ID number, your gender, age, nationality, and country of birth. As we know, some of these scholarships are for international students. Hence, I would ask you for your nationality and your country of birth. The second page will ask you about the program that you are studying. So it asks about your student status, the program that you'll be studying, the mode, the level, the program year, faculty, and also the scholarships that you want to apply for. Now, it is important to note that you can apply for more than one scholarships in a single application. So it will drop down and show you all the scholarships that are available for you to apply for. You just click on which one you want to apply for, and that will be it. If the scholarship is not available, you will not be able to click on it. The academics page will ask you about your different academics. So the name of your high school. And even though when next year comes, you'll not be coming from a high school, you will still be asked to put your high school information here. It asks for your CSEC results. It asks for your extracurricular activities in high school, in community, and in CMU once you are in CMU. If you're just coming to CMU, you just put not applicable in the box right there. Also ask for the awards that you have received, whether it be at school or in the community. We'll also ask you about your financial need. Now, I must say that for this section, please to remember that you are competing against other students to get this scholarship. And so we're requesting that you tell us about your financial situation, as this will be the only way we would know if you really need the scholarship. So please don't just say, oh, I'm from a single parent background and my mother can't pay for my tuition, and just leave it alone there. That to give us a little bit more information. So whether it is that you have a sick sibling or your parent is not well, so the money have to be tied up there, or you have more than one siblings that your parents have to be paying for. If your parent is really a single parent, then we need to know that also. If you have to be helping to, work to get money to pay for tuition, we need to know all that information so that when we look at all the applications, we can say, okay, this person looks like they really need a scholarship more than the other person. Also, for the career goals, please don't just tell me, oh, I want to be a marine biologist, full stop. Tell us a little bit about what it's about, how you think you will be able to help the nation, build the nation, to build the world. When you finish doing this degree, just let us know what are your goals, or you plan to go up level and up the ranks in this industry. Just let us know about it, as this will help us to know if you are more eligible than somebody else to get it. As it relates to the question that asks, do you have any other source of income? If you click yes, then you're going to see a drop down with the different types of income. So whether it be SLB, scholarship, your parents, or if you are working, it's going to ask you about that. Yes, and then at the end of the day, it's going to carry back to the dashboard when you have clicked submit. As it relates to the documents, you'll be asked to upload. There's going to be a link there for you to upload your reference letters, your qualifications, whether it be your CXC or CAPE results or your transcript. We'll ask you for a passport size picture, and we'll ask you for your birth certificate. So you need to upload those. Please do not submit your application without uploading these documents. Okay, and so I'm just going to give you, as I wrap up, I'm just going to give you some tips about applying for scholarships. No, apply for all eligible scholarships. Don't doubt yourself as to which scholarship you will get or not get. I would rather you apply for them and you don't get it than you don't apply for it and you would have gotten it. So please to apply for as much scholarships as possible. Don't only apply for one because you feel like that's the only one that you should apply for, because you can have more than one scholarships running at a time. If it is, let us say your tuition is $300,000 and you get a grant for 50, you get another scholarship for 150, that is 200 so far. You get another scholarship for another $100,000. Each adds up to cover your tuition, and don't just apply for the scholarships that says full tuition. Apply for every scholarship and bursary and grant that you can. Secondly, seek assistance if you are not sure how to apply. Don't give up. Don't give up if you don't know how to answer the questions, if you don't know what documents to put, if you don't know how to write the essays. Please do not give up. Ask for help. You can contact me and I can assist you with writing the scholarship essays, or you can ask somebody else to assist you. Please to ask for assistance. My next tip is to participate in extracurricular activities and volunteerism. It is of utmost importance to us at CMU and to our donors. They are giving back to you and they want to know that you are giving back to others. And a lot of them require you to do volunteer service in order to keep the scholarship. They want to see that you're involved in different activities. So whether it be in high school, in your community, at church, when you come to CMU, you're applying yourself at CMU, they want to see that you're an all-rounder, not just book smart alone. You have to be doing different things. They want to see that you can manage your time and all of that. So participate in extracurricular activities. I must say that I have seen students who are not a part of any curricular activities at all, nowhere, and they are very book smart, high GPA, and they did not get the scholarship because they were not involved. So please get involved in your different activities. And also, the final one is form a relationship with your donors. They're giving you the scholarship. You tell them thank you. You check upon them every now and then just to find out how they're doing. Because at the end of the day, if it is when the next school year comes and let us say, God forbid, you're not eligible for the scholarship because of your grades, but because you have been in a relationship with them and they probably know your story, it's something happened and you just, your headspace just didn't allow you to be able to do well on the exams or during the course, or something happened, because you have this relationship with them and they know you, they know your situation, they can say, okay, let me give it to them. And then they help you and guide you along, to make things better for you. So form a relationship with your donors. So again, apply for all eligible scholarships, seek assistance, participate in extracurricular activities and volunteerism, and form relationships with your donors. Cannot stress that enough. And so as I finish now, I'm just going to leave you with my contact information as to how you can reach to me in the scholarship unit. I am seated in the registry department. My name is here, email address. My manager is Mr. Marriott. So if you're not able to get to me, you can ask for Mr. Marriott and he can assist you also. So again, you can go to the CMU website to get information on the scholarship, or you can send an email to scholarships@cmu.edu.jm, or you can just reach me at my extension at 4009, or send me a WhatsApp or call me on my CUG. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
And that's not Jadine on the screen, by the way. Sorry, I was waiting to say that. That is not Jadine on the screen, by the way. Jadine is on the road now, begging people to apply for scholarships, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, I am.
Is that she's away begging people to apply for scholarships. We joke about it, but trust me when we say that so much of my experience here at the Caribbean Maritime University since I joined in 2017 is trying to get people to apply for scholarships, negotiating with donors to say, no, man, we're going to get some more people, we're going to get some more people. It is amazing to me because people are always like, I'm not going to get it, I'm not going to get it, I'm not going to get it. And I said it at the beginning, for those of you who didn't join and hear me, did not pay for undergraduate, did not pay for postgraduate. So this is real. When I joined here in the Office of Marketing and Communications, before scholarships were in the Office of Administration / University Registrar, we had someone in the Office of Marketing and Communications who would print the scholarship application forms when you could have applied for them physically and go to classes. We would go through the student records to see it in the instance, for instance, that you had scholarships where you'd have to attain a certain GPA. Look for students with that GPA, go into the classroom, find them, and sit, Nicole Inorarity at the time, sit and have them fill out the forms.
We still do it.
You still do it
yes.
to give away money. So it's very surreal and it's very funny. If you saw me tinkering with the screen as well, it's because I was trying to bring up, I think, one of our graduates, Daniel, I'm forgetting Daniel's name right now, who was not only a successful scholarship winner, he was a multiple scholarship winner. I'm going to bring that up in a moment and show you the articles that came out in the Jamaica Observer, etc. He was one of our stellar students. He applied for many scholarships. He won several scholarships as well as grants. And within, I think, about 3 years of leaving the Caribbean Maritime University, he went off and convinced his company to bring additional scholarships to the CMU. And we have those scholarships as a consequence. There's one on screen that Judine talked about earlier, the American Caribbean Maritime Foundation Scholarship. We have, I would say that she is, the word I would use is to say that the executive director of that organization is passionate, and she's always like, I'm not getting enough applications, and we have to be figuring out how we get students to apply. And the American Caribbean Maritime Foundation has provided so many students in Jamaica and across the Caribbean, not just with full scholarships, but also grants. And she's very serious about it. She's like, where are the students? We need them on the platform. We need them to be talking about the experience that they've had. We have had to be in marketing and comms doing videos to convince people to get scholarships. So I can't say enough. I'm very serious when I say that there is money out there, and so much of our time is spent trying to convince people to go out there and seek the opportunities which are there. There are opportunities, and people always think they're not going to get them. And Judine is on the road now begging people to apply for scholarships as we speak.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. For the students who will be attending the registration session in May, that's next week, I see questions being asked in the chat regarding what you should bring. When you applied, you would have submitted certain documents that were used to process your application. We need to see the original copies of those documents. So your educational qualifications need to come, the originals. Your photograph, we need your passport size photograph. We need to see the original birth certificate and TRN. In the case of the departments that require police record, you need to ensure that you bring that passport. You need to bring that for those programs that require that. For the departments that require the references, you need to work with those references as well. Now, if it is that you
this should have been outlined in your package though, right? It's in
the package.
Whatever letter you receive says a list of what you need to take.
But we still have persons from time to time who don't come with the original document. So please note, students, that it's the originals that we need to see. We need to authenticate that whatever you submitted for your application is legitimate. So just work with those documents, please.
All right, so they're on screen now. Thank you, VP Walker, for that. So they're on screen now. So Leticia, is your question here? See, if you are, this is an exact, full-time was just on screen and part-time is now on screen. So here is an example of what we mean. So there's a part-time right there. It says, if you're a part-time student, so you're a registered student, you've gone to registration, you've been accepted, you've gone to registration, and you are approaching the start of the new academic year. By August 31, you should have paid part-time student. You should have paid a minimum 10% of your tuition plus your full auxiliary fees. If you've paid that, then you're on the payment plan. You get? So if your school fee as a part-time student was $100 and your auxiliary fees is $15, if you paid 10% of $100, $10, and 15 plus $15, $25, you're on the payment plan. You don't need to apply for the payment plan. When time comes for you to start classes, we will look and see if you paid a minimum $25 using the example I've given, $10 for the 10% of the 100, and $15, $25, you're on the payment plan and you're fine. Granted, once we have your receipts, and ideally if you've used the CMU payment system so that you at least have, you've gotten that information, which is why we have the information instantly, which is why we encourage you, when you become a registered student, use the CMU payment system because it updates immediately. And my other encouragement outside of that is use Paymaster because it also updates very, very quickly. If you use a bank and you do not, that slot where you put in more information and you don't put in the appropriate information like who the payment is for, your ID number, sometimes your payment will be here and we won't know. And if you're a parent who is paying on behalf of the child and you put in the wrong information, your money will be in the account and we won't know. So you have to also ensure that you are putting in the correct information when you are doing this. So you say, oh, but I paid my fee. Yes, but your fee is Archibald Gordon, and Archibald Gordon is paying for Jane Gordon. And we don't have a student called Archibald Gordon. So we have money and we don't know whose money it is for. So you have to be careful that you're putting in the correct information if you are using a bank. So we encourage people to try and use the CMU payment platform, which is designed in a particular way to get the information that's needed and to ensure that it is accurate. If I can just go back for a second to full-time students, Amanda, if you can go back to full-time students there, the slide before that, slide 6. So Leticia, to answer your question right here, by August 31, you needed to have paid 20% plus your full auxiliary fees, and you're on the payment plan. So if your fee is $100, 20% of $100, $20, plus $15 for your auxiliary fees. If you've paid a minimum $35 in my example, you're on the payment plan. And you, by September 30, you need to have paid an additional 15%. By October, by October 31, an additional 10%. And by November 30, an additional 5%. So just in the first year alone, you have 5 tranches in, what's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 4 tranches in which you can pay. So that is a payment plan. And all you have to do is pay, make sure the correct information is on there, and we will automatically, ensure that whatever you need to get by August 31, whether it's to get into classes, by September 30, which is to do your exams, you automatically pass through that. You don't need to do any extra effort. So you are automatically on the payment plan. And then you have 4 more chances to pay off your fees for semester 2. So this is 8 tranches. You can pay in 8 tranches maximum. Now, if you have the money, you're on scholarship, you're on grant, you're whatever, or you happen to have the money for the whole year and you don't want to be a part of this, and by August 31, you paid 100% of your full tuition and the full auxiliary fee, then you're on a whole different level of payment plan because you don't have to worry about payment until next year. All right, so you're automatically on the payment plan once you have done the information, once you have submitted the information correctly. But it is really key if you're using a bank to ensure that you are submitting information in a particular way. And this is also true if you're submitting information to us. If I write from my email address and I write skillarchy@hotmail.com, dear CMU, can you give me an update on my application process? That can work. With Skillarchy, you need your full government name and whatever identification information that would make you unique, which is why we have numbers like the TRN, you have your student application number and so forth. It cannot be that you're emailing from skillarchy@hotmail.com to dear CMU, we won't know who you are. So you have to be careful about how you're communicating so that you can get the information you require. And remember that you're communicating formally in an environment in which people are making up things. So I can't tell who you are unless you provide certain information, and I'm not going to be giving you that information if you're pookie@gmail.com. That's not how this works. So when you're communicating with a formal institution like a bank, you have to bring your 2 IDs and all of that. You can't say you're pookie. You understand me? So you have to pay attention to those kinds of things when you are communicating via email to request information, and communicating also information about fees that I have paid. We need to know who you are. We need to know when you paid it, on what date, who paid it, whose information is written down. You need to be precise, because remember, you're communicating with people who don't know you and who are communicating with thousands of other people. So that is really key for you to follow the rules, to read all the information that's given to you, and make sure you're communicating with in a certain kind of way. Because you'll be like, nobody will communicate with me. I have instances in which people have written dear so-and-so, and there's nothing they've written to info@cmu.edu.jm, and they've written dear CMU, can I get that, and nobody knows who they're talking to because you have no information about them in the body of the email. And they say, I've talked to 20 people. No, you haven't. You are not communicating properly. So that is really, really key. So having sat or stood or whatever on my soapbox for a moment, I'm going to thank everybody again for joining us for this edition of the CMU Getting Ready series. We're going to be back for next week, Thursday, for the next edition of the CMU Getting Ready series. And I just want to remind you of some of the next series of meetings that we're going to be having as well. We'll be having a meeting on next week, Thursday, as I said, and that one is going to cover the Code of Conduct and online platforms. That's on May 28th. Then we're going to be covering emotional readiness and your support network on June 4. We're going to be doing a walkthrough of the student handbook critical on August 13, what you need to know on August 20. And of course, we have early registration, which is taking place May 26th to 28th on the CMU main campus. So again, thank you, everybody. Thanks for showing up this morning. Thanks for asking all of the questions that you want. And if you have further questions, you know where to reach us. But try to show up as much as possible for these sessions because it is really very difficult to answer 1,000 individual emails. And it's great if you all gather in one place and you ask every question that you want, and you have a bag of people from the CMU who are here to guide you. So again, Code of Conduct and online platforms on May 28, emotional readiness and your support network on June 4, a walkthrough of the student handbook on August 13, and what you need to know, a final wrap up on August 20, 2026. We have orientation coming up, we have registration coming up. We're excited to see you. And again, remember, you don't come to these sessions just for information. You also come to meet, to create a network that helps propel you and guide you in the future. So again, thank you everybody, and see you next week, Thursday, same place, same time at 11 a.m. Take care.